Hello, Chap here. Welcome back in the workshop. Freshly back from Finnish Brutality. Guns have been cleaned, the moon dust is mostly gone, and yeah, once again it was a wonderful experience, and I can't wait already for next year. So things have been done a little bit differently this year. Bloke was in Squad 1, so with all the true celebrities. The plan was that I would be doing it all in one day with the crew. But logistically it didn't work out, so I was in Squad 6, so I was following Squad 1, and when they went off to do their breacher stuff, so whatever it was, pole dancing, daisy chain making, things like that, my squad got down to business. In my squad there was Pascal, who did most of the filming, as was Thomas, the kilted gentleman, who also stood in now and again, so thank you two for running after me with the camera. So what I propose to do is go through each stage and give my opinion, of course, with the full force of hindsight, and see what I did right, what I did wrong, should have done, shouldn't have done, and so on. So we'll start with stage 1, which is a little bit special because I had to run it twice. The first time, the timer didn't work on the last shot, so they couldn't tell whether I was in time or not. So I was offered a reshoot, which meant I went to the back of the queue to give myself a bit of time to recover, and then ran the stage again. So I've put the final run, so the run that counts for the competition, as the main image, and the first run in a little image on the side, and you can see the difference it makes when you do a rerun. Apart from one little thing that happened in the second stage, I was more or less one throw ahead. This is the kettlebell stage, one throw ahead throughout the stage. So let's have a look. Alright, here we go. So I have to jump out the back of the APC, holding the rifle unloaded and kettlebell. And now we start. So every time we have a first shot at the plate at the end, and then it is a succession of throwing the kettlebell, firing from the position of landing, and rinse and repeat. So I was pretty happy with my throws. Kettlebell is 24 kilos. Now, as you can see, we have an assault course to throw the kettlebell around. So yeah, you really hope that you don't dump the kettlebell into a tyre, and also you don't actually touch any of the tyres or the barrels, because it will cause the kettlebell to bounce back. I did see that happen during the RO match. And if the kettlebell happens to go outside the side zones there, you can see with the tape, you have to grab your rifle, otherwise you're going to smash yourself, pick up the kettlebell and go back to your throwing point. So luckily you didn't have to go all the way back to the beginning, and I got lucky in the second run that it was rolled just inside the tape, so I was lucky with that one. And I actually remembered the zigzag path I took the first run through, and it avoids any of the major obstacles, and so that was a good strategic choice. Now you can see between the two runs that I'm one throw ahead in the second run, and it all looks really great. And when we get to the last shot here, you take the last shot once you're still inside the log area, and then you empty you take your magazine out. And in theory, you've got one round loaded, which means that for the next run back, once you've put the kettlebell over the end, you take a last shot and your rifle is empty. It is a stick. What I didn't notice was that on my last shot previously, it had loaded the next round but stovepiped the case. So, not noticing that the round had been chambered, I emptied the rifle, which meant I had to get a fresh mag, charge it to load one round, empty, and take out the magazine to take the last shot, which was an immense loss of time. You can see that my first run self is running back, and the second run, in which I was way ahead, I have now lagged behind. So, grab the kettlebell, run back into the APC, and squirm your way up into the turret. Load your magazine up again and take one final shot at the target, which was a bonus shot. And unfortunately, now that I've got the two things back to back, I was slightly over time on the first run. Alright, stage 2, we start close to the targets at the back of the sisu, and we have a couple of meters to try and get one hit on each of the steel plates there. Gave you a 5-second bonus in each one. I managed to get one, quite pleased with that. Oh, by the way, probably during the RO match someone did shoot the sisu in this stage, so yeah, it bounces around quite a bit. So at one point they tell you to cease fire, put the rifle in safe, and then you proceed to the actual start of the stage. Now this is quite interesting, as there are some clay pigeons on the ground which are landmines, so you have to look where you're going as you're moving sideways, not just at the targets but also at what your feet are doing, and there's barricades from which you have to shoot with steel plates.
Are you ready? Ready? Stand by.
First tank trap. There was actually a landmine quite close to the middle, which just hindered you from bedding down in the middle of the tank trap. This stage wasn't particularly difficult, but time pressure does weird things. Now I had a couple of the stoppages again in this stage, but I knew what was happening. I knew that the fresh round was chambering, so I would just tap the loading lever just a little bit, like you can see there, just to eject the spent case and carry on. Okay, then we enter a little shack, rifle on safe, put it down, cradle, and then there's an NCO rifle with which you have to hit the little gong there you can see in the picture. I didn't know if I hit or miss. I missed in the end. Part of the reason was that I didn't take enough time, and also the scope there was a lot of things going on in that reticle. So yeah, finding what to aim at or what bit was going to be aiming where took a bit of working out. Anyway, I finished in plenty of time, so I probably could have just sat down, taken a deep breath, and secured the hit. So all the way through you're shuffling forwards and making sure your feet don't touch those clay pigeons. Another little stoppage. Luckily a friendly soul loaned me a mag pouch because I was quite happy dumping my mags on the ground until we learnt that the rule range rules this edition were leave nothing behind. So there we go. Not a bad stage, but yes, perhaps a little more care and attention would have secured me that bonus. So after that stage I went to whine to Les and Ian and Bloke to say that all this blah blah about modern rifles never going wrong was a whole load of BS, because I was having these little funny stovepipes. And also had a good chat with Giga and Jordan. Now Jordan has a VHS 2 and he's run it in far more comps than I. So he took it apart, everything was fine, everything's working as it should. And then Giga mentioned that this funny stoppage had also happened with the Perun, and that was due to spicy ammo. Now this the VHS has got a normal gas setting and a suppressor setting, that's all. So one theory was that the Salco ammo, SS109, which is the match ammo was provided with, was perhaps a little bit more gassy than usual. Despite having run a full mag through it the previous day to sight the rifle in without any issues, this started happening, as it does. So he'd observed then this, Giga had observed this in the Perun, and the solution then had been to actually put the gas setting to suppressor, so limit the gas a bit. And we did that, we oiled it up just for good measure again, and the problem never appeared again. So there we go, that was just a little ammo issue. I obviously jinked myself because during the kit vid I said that this had been running with whatever ammo I chose to put through it. So there we go. Onwards. Stage 3, you have to carry a 40 kilo backpack, which is basically half my body weight again, and you just have to laboriously work your way through, shooting one shot per orifice while carrying this rucksack. Now this rucksack is very, very tightly cinched, so you have limited movement in your shoulders. There's also the frame which limits movement in your head, so you can't always get a comfortable position. And you have to go over the bridge. The bridge wasn't really a problem as such, it was more the windows. Of course, how it lines up with you depends on your body proportions, and then of course the bag gets heavier and heavier. And it's interesting that in this first run I could do the 2 windows here on the left kneeling, and for some reason I couldn't do it again. I'm just going slowly, making sure I got my hits in each case. I'm slightly getting used to VTACs, especially the angular ones. It wasn't an issue with this one. Height over bore was not an issue, and it's really close enough. So there's hope for me to run the FAMAS again without getting munched by the VTAC. So here you can see I have to get myself up. It's those little movements where the rucksack got you. Walking wasn't an issue, but just sort of hitching yourself up from kneeling, that really puts strain on the knees. And off we go for one last run. Whoa, oh, last little trumble there. Oof. And there we go. Stage 4 was great fun, multidisciplinary, so rifle, pistol and first aid. So we start off with a mad dash, and we have to have 2 shots on 2 steels, as usual, no double taps, so 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we move around to the middle bay, dump the rifle, and help out this poor fella, seems to be in a bit of bother. So grab the tourniquet which is on him and apply it properly. So he's not letting go of his stump, so you have to open the loop and apply the strap correctly. They really kept a good eye, so there's no cheating, you have to do it as if it was a real life situation. Like for me, I wrapped it round the limb and I said no, it's the Velcro was actually wrapped around itself, so I had to sort that out and apply it properly, which is fair enough because I'm just about to apply a lot of tension on it. I had trouble with the gloves, so it needs, the Velcro really needs to be well attached. You know, I don't care if the patient doubles a bit, and so actually someone was controlling the blood flow with a remote control, so they would decide when you've applied enough pressure and let you go. So I helpfully screamed at him that I'd set the tourniquet at 3 o'clock, just in case he remembered through the pain. Here we have 2 steels again, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then mag out for the last shot, so that you end up with an empty rifle. And I was aiming for that little gong there next to my head, and that was a bonus shot. And I thought I took my time and carefully aimed, but it was not to be. Never mind. Then you sling your rifle, making sure you don't sweep anybody or yourself, and then you proceed to the dueling tree. For some weird reason, I have no fear of a dueling tree. Stars and spinners, yes, but dueling trees I actually quite enjoy. And there we go, done in a business-like fashion. And last stage of the day, this was a fantastic idea. So we have mags loaded with a maximum of 26 rounds, and there are 24 exposures, each of 13 seconds at random points. And there's a window you have to shoot through in the VTAC for the left. On the middle, there is a beam on which you have to stand on with 1 or 2 feet to shoot the middle target. You're not allowed to put a foot down on the dust. And there's an open position on the right, just with a no shoot in front. So as I said, the sequence was completely random. It was up to you in which order you shot things, bearing in mind there's 13 seconds elapsing. So I was not going quite fast enough, and sometimes you have to decide whether to persist with a target or go on to one which has appeared with more time. And so yeah, it's great fun. You pretty much lose your mind, you just react, and there are these nice pauses just to lull you. You think, have I finished? Am I not finished? Because you lose count completely. I got it! Standing on 1 foot. I actually found that swinging your legs about was far more stable than trying to find a stable position on the beam. So in the end I missed 7 targets, some of which, well, all of which are the ones either I missed when shooting, horribly slow reload by the way, or I didn't have time to reach like that one just now. It was a very good spectator sport. There was a lot of acrobatics going on and some very quick times. And there we go. That's it for day 1.
Unload. Show me clear.
Alright, stage 6, day 2. So essentially we're using the same bays, but they've been remodeled for the new stages. So we start with the turret, and we have 3 large gongs and a tiny blue gong. Blue gong is a bonus, so I took my time with that one. If you only get 1 shot, it was as usual, take the mag out and shoot the round that's loaded. Holster the pistol and crawl through the cabin, grabbing the rifle as you go, finding out where you point it. Then there was a rope to climb, and if you touched the top of the beam, you got a bonus. And if you didn't manage it the first time, you got about another 3 good tries, and then you'd move on. So that was easy. Of course, I didn't have any heavy equipment, so I could scramble up that in no time. And then comes the spinner. So I've never spun a rifle spinner before. I've come close. So let's see how it did. Now you have to shoot through a little box, and this was kicking up dust like nobody's business. But I didn't actually find it an issue. I used a magnifier on this, and the front grip on the rifle actually served as a very convenient anchor inside the box. So I essentially just plonked the rifle down and kept my position. Now there, if I remember correctly, there was a maximum of 30 rounds before you could move on. So I got my position set, and it was going well. The ROs did tell us that to minimize shooting on the backside, so I was a little bit shy. I missed there once, but I got the rhythm back again. That was one thing I could see it really clearly with the magnifier, so it was no issue like the year before, I think, where I got confused and actually stopped it. Tried a couple of times to double tap, but that did more harm than good. So I just plodded on and managed to persuade it over. No, not quite yet. I think the next one. There we go. And I'm off. So spent a lot of time, but I got that spinner. So the stage is not over. Then you had to be on or in the tyre as long as your feet were not touching the dirt, and shoot the left and right plates. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then, as usual, what should then happen was you unload it, and with your remaining round you have a bonus shot on the little gong. What I didn't notice was that I'd locked back on empty, so I would have to load a new mag and put in a fresh mag, load one round, unload the magazine, take the shot. Then there was a Sako sniper rifle back at the beginning of the stage, so you ran back with your rifle, hit the dirt, and shot each of the steel targets once again for a bonus. So there was a penalty for not reaching the Sako rifle, and no bonuses for shooting the steel. So I lost a lot of points in that stage, but I got the spinner.
Stand by!
Alright, this is a stage where I don't actually remember much, because I went full return to monkey on this one. It's pretty self-explanatory, as you will see. Yeah, so from the point where I hit the dirt and run, I pretty much phase out and just go on instinct. I should do that more often. I thought about running, just basically doing a running jump at the back of the truck, as I've seen a couple of people do, but then I thought, knowing my luck, I'm probably going to roll an ankle and go sprawling with my rifle pointing where it shouldn't, even though it's unsafe, and get DQ'd. So I at least dismounted with a little control before going for it. So the first time you lift these bags, you think, oh, that's alright, not too heavy. But I assure you that with every sequence, those bags get heavier and heavier. As if someone is shoveling a bit of sand with every repetition in there. So I did notice while observing others that people tended to shoot the target straight ahead first and then shoot the target on the left. And to do that they would have to shift quite substantially. I thought if I line up with the target on the left, I just needed to do a little flick to shoot the target dead ahead, and actually that worked really well. I have to do far less movement switching between the targets.
Doing great. Let's go. Empty the tank. Empty the tank. Good job.
There we go. And finally regain consciousness at the beep. So yeah, I had no idea how much it was, but very happy with the result, as you can see. This is a stage that I am calling Humble Pie. You'll see why. The stage is pretty easy, as such, in terms of what you need to do. One shot on each target through each designated window in the VTAC, and barbed wire to crawl under. So off I go. My knife gets caught and gets catapulted backwards, which with the leave nothing behind is a bit of a problem, as you will see. So the arrows, yeah, you can see the dust shaking off the rifle with every shot. Yeah, this was a very, very dusty stage. Also forgot to put an empty mag in my pistol, but yeah, luckily I didn't get handfuls of dust going in there. So yeah, there he's pointing out the knife, which I have to pick up, otherwise I'll get a penalty. Now, I wasn't sure whether I was allowed to let go of the rifle, so I was trying to do it, put it back in the sheath one-handed, until they told me no, you can do it two-handed. So that sped up, but yeah, losing an enormous amount of time trying to put it in the right way. Like a USB, I did wrong, right, wrong.
No. Turn it around.
Anyway, as long as it didn't move, that was fine. And then I can carry on. Now, since I was in open, I didn't even need to carry that belt. So I could have removed everything that could stick, but I didn't. And that's my only failure in this one, because I also forgot to top up my mags. I knew I had a full one, or almost full. I don't think it was actually full in the end. And I thought, oh, it's 20 shots, easy targets, you know, I'll have enough. Did I? Of course I didn't. So here we go on my last sequence through. So I've missed a couple of times. So I go in. These are my last 4 shots I need to take. No problem. Last window, 2 shots to go. Oh, I'm empty. Right. Draw the mag. Draw the fresh mag. Feels a bit light. Oh well. Miss. Hit. And I'm out. My last mag is empty. And I had 1 shot left to take, 1 target to take, so I got a penalty for that. And I also got full par time because I could not finish the stage. So yeah, that sucked. Next stage promised to be very, very interesting. So first you have to carry these weights in with a pinch hold to a bench where there are a series of wooden boards with alphanumeric codes on them. So you have to pick one, remember it, and that will be for future use. And then you proceeded to a pistol spinner. Now I was confident I'd managed the rifle spinner. Let's try and do the pistol spinner. I've got a dot, so it should be relatively easy to line up. But unfortunately, it was not to be. So after 2 misses, I finally get my 2 brain cells together, and it starts going pretty well. So I'm not even attempting to double tap. And there was, by the way, quite a lot of rules to prevent unsportsmanlike conduct. So you couldn't just mag dump into the sand and carry on with the next stage. There was a minimum round count you had to do. So I was very conscious of just plodding along regularly and try and do my best, as I've done with the rifle. Unfortunately, that's as far as I got. So as a little treat to you, I will show you Pascal's run, which was fantastic. Bearing in mind he's got a SIG 210, so 8-round magazines, and yeah, we'll just see how he did and how those numbers are relevant later.
Stand by. To the middle back. Chap and turn around. Turn around. Oh, sorry.
You can see in 8 rounds, including a little malfunction there in the middle. So that was fantastic. So as you run round, you have a flaming car wreckage to deal with, and then there are 4 targets in each bay, and above each target is a series of letters and numbers. So you have to figure out which one of your letters and numbers on your little card you turned over is amongst them. There will be 2 targets with one of those letters or numbers. So you have to find them and shoot 1, 2, 1, 2, and you do the same in the last bay. So this is all the fun I missed out on due to being sucked in by the spinner. Discussing it with Pascal, I said what I could have done was attempts to do top and bottom on the spinner. That way I could have gone through my rounds quicker whether I made it or not, without endangering the unsportsmanlike conduct.
It has a magazine holder. I will insert an empty magazine section, sorry. Empty there? Yeah.
You got one penalty for shooting down that popper, but otherwise a very, very happy boy.
That was 45.
Nice run.
Oh. 1 mag.
Yeah.
For the spinners, but goddamn.
Alright, last stage. Fairly straightforward. There's a small steel and a large steel, each with a penalty popper in front. So on each side you shoot small, big, then you have to lob the sandbag over, grab your pistol, not scrape your back along the beam, that did leave a scar, and then repeat on the other side. Small, large, and carry on, making sure you go nice and low, not forgetting your pistol. The RO spent a lot of time going, whoa, spend pistol. Probably did that many times a day. I did not forget it. And what I was very, very careful and conscious of were those poppers. It was an easy shot, but it's the end of the day, the end of a 2-day comp, and so perhaps there I went a little bit slower than I wanted to. I really did not want to shoot those poppers. Sandbag itself wasn't a problem. So despite saying not counting, you are counting in your head. And for some reason in my head it was 11 hits. So I had a bit of hesitation there at the end.
13, good job. Unload and shot clear.
So there we go, that was my first brutality in open division. Overall I was 119 out of 156, 157. There were only 33 of us shooting in open. I was 22nd in the ranks there. Not really surprising for Finland. Most of the people competing are, of course, still serving. They carry their plate carriers when they do their stints, so it makes sense that the majority are huge tactical Vikings. It was, I think, overall, compared to my other brutalities, I didn't really do any better or any worse than with my funky French surplus. But I will say that it was very nice to finish the majority of the stages this time and not having to time out due to some mechanical problem. The only stages I timed out on was the first stage, and that was by 2200th of a second. That's when my shot rang out on the first run. And then the 2 spinner stages. So I think what I need to improve on is my quick shooting and generally my transitioning between places. The heavyweights and stuff are no problem, but I can definitely speed up when shifting between positions, getting up and that kind of thing. So that'll be stuff to work on. In terms of the gear, the stuff I was wearing was great. The running top was a really good choice. It's basically like the competition tops you see in IPSC and stuff. So it's very, very lightweight, and that was really useful during the sunny days on the Friday and the Sunday. Long sleeves, but still very, very light, and didn't I could kept cool despite being completely covered and didn't burn. The pouches were also great, no problems with that. The one issue I had with the cane holster was that the button, once the moon dust got in there, it tended to stick in the release position. So now I've given it a good blast with compressed air, put some oil in there, and it's loose again. The actual loop here, that kept on working, so it would lock back even when the button was stuck. We didn't have any stages where you needed to holster, reholster, get the pistol out, reholster, etc. So it wasn't really an issue. It was just on one stage, I just had to thumb the loop ever so slightly so that it would flip forward. So it was never a safety issue. And the guns, rifle, there was that little problem with the gas setting. That was quickly solved, and once that was done, it worked absolutely fine. The moon dust also was no problem. This is a very well sealed area with the bolt forward, and when I cleaned it, there was nothing in there. So that was a very clean, very quick clean. Dust obviously got in here where there's openings, but it didn't affect function at all. And the pistol, that worked absolutely fine. I didn't clean it between stages or between day 1 and day 2, and yeah, absolutely no problem with that. The sight was rock solid, everything kept 0, so happy with that. It's a combination I'll probably use again. So I think that's pretty much it. I think that probably next year I will go back to the Armoured TST division. It is, I will admit, slightly more fun than Open. Open feels a bit like cheating, to be honest, and you miss out with all the fun and games on the side, of course, and the sort of camaraderie that goes with it. So yeah, I'll start training. Well, I probably will strain for that. Important thing will be to not become a chungus over the winter, and just work on that condition and see if we can speed things up for next year. I'm already looking forward to it. So thank you once again, Varusteleka, for organising such a great event. Thank you to all the sponsors. I'll put them on the screen because there's far too many to name. And yeah, looking forward to next year. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my torment. And thank you for all your support, whatever platform you want to follow us on. And see you very soon back here in the workshop or on the range. Bye.